Hi friends, I have a read aloud book for you today. It's a really beautiful book. It's called A Seed is Sleepy. I do have Eli right next to me, and he has been very noisy. I've had to re-record this video quite a few times, so you're gonna have to excuse him if he decides to cough or start itching or something like that. So this is a nonfiction book. It's written by Diana Hutz Aston. She's the author, and the illustrator is Sylvia Long. And you're going to notice that Sylvia Long, the illustrator, does very detailed sort of scientific drawings for her illustration. So even though they are drawings, it is a nonfiction book, so they are very detailed, realistic drawings. And what Diana Hutz Aston does in this book is she uses a lot. He's itching. Can you hear him? Eli, stop it. Stop. She uses a lot of adjectives, which are describing words. That's so a seed is sleepy. The word sleepy is a describing word. It's what you're saying the seed is. And that's kind of silly because you don't think of a seed as being sleepy, right? Because you think of more of animals or humans as being sleepy. But she explains each of her adjectives on the page. So this is one of the inside covers, and I love this part of the book because these are all different kinds of seeds. And there's teeny tiny little words that tell you what kind of seeds they are. So this is a milkweed seed, a devil's claw. This one's one of my favorites. This is called a hamburger bean. Can you tell why it's called a hamburger bean? Some of them you're gonna know, like this one we were talking about the other day. That's a maple, a Japanese maple. Those are the ones that twist around. And we also looked at seeds like this in the book by Gail Gibbons, the dandelion seed that blows in the wind. And at the end of the book, there's a really cool, the back inside cover has something cool that I will show you at the end. A seed is sleepy. A seed is sleepy. It lies there tucked inside its flower, on its cone or beneath the soil, snug and still. So you notice why she might have said that it was sleepy, because it's tucked away, kind of waiting. A seed is secretive. So secretive means it keeps secrets. It does not reveal itself too quickly. So then what she does is she gives you some facts down here. Most seeds sleep through a season or two, waiting for the warmer temperatures of spring, but some take their time. 10 years might pass before the bright red-orange seed of the Texas mountain laurel shows its purple blooms. So that's called the Texas mountain laurel. It could be 10 years before it grows. A seed is fruitful. 90% of the plants on Earth are flowering plants. So that's almost all of them. Flowering plants produce fruits of all shapes and textures that keep the seeds cozy until they have found the right place to grow. So these are all different types of fruits that contain seeds, like papaya. This one's called a devil's claw. The turpentine broom. The Guyanese wild coffee. A seed is, you're gonna like this one, naked. Yes, naked. Scientists call gymnosperms, seeds that aren't clothed in fruits, naked seeds. Most naked seeds hide themselves on the scales of cones until they're ready to make a dash for the ground. Now, if you find a pine cone, you can open up the little scales of the pine cone and you can find the little seeds hiding inside. Who would guess that a seed as small as a freckle would grow into the world's tallest tree? Only 10% of redwood trees begin as seeds, though. Most redwood trees spring from existing trees. I didn't know that. Redwood tree is one of the biggest trees in the whole world. It's really, really, really big and tall. And it sounds like a lot of redwood trees just sprout out of the other trees, but some of them come from seeds. Seeds come in many sizes. The orchid seed is the smallest of all. There might be 1,000,000 in one pod. That's this one here. The seed of the coco de mer palm is the largest. It can weigh up to 60 pounds. There's the coco de mer. So Eli weighs 70 pounds. So this seed weighs almost as much as Eli. A seed is adventurous. It must strike out on its own in search of a less crowded place to put down roots. Here's the dandelion one. A parachute of fine silky hairs can take a dandelion seed 100 miles from its parent plant. Here's the milkweed. Drift seeds float on ocean currents from one shore to another. They have enough air inside them to help them float, and their thick protective shells keep out seawater. So these are all different kinds of drift seeds, and we saw some of those in the Gail Gibbons book, From Seed to Plant, too. A seed is inventive. To find a spot to grow, a seed might leap from its pod, or cling to a child's shoestring, or tumble through a bear's belly. A seed hopes to land where there is plenty of sunlight, soil, and water. We talked about that too, right? The things this seed needs to grow, it needs space and soil and sunlight and water. It's a little bit like, we talked about that when we learned about animals and habitats. Animals also need space and food and water. A seed is generous. It gives the baby plant or embryo a seed coat to keep it warm. The embryo's first meal comes from its seed leaves, or cotyledons. Oh, I probably didn't say that word right. Cotyledons. Seeds with one seed leaf, like corn, are called monocots, and seeds with 2 seed leaves, like beans, are called dicots. That is a lot of information. So this is the life cycle of some different plants. So here's the one of the bean plant. Okay. This one is rice, the way rice grows into a plant. This one is pumpkin. This one is a pine tree, and it goes on to the next page. And this one is a teak tree. So this is how it starts as a seed here, and then it goes all the way, and it goes all the way over to this next page. This teak tree is 100 years old. Some seeds are ancient, really, 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 really old. Not all seeds are eager to germinate. That's what that fancy word for when it sprouts. Some have lain dormant or slept undisturbed for more than 1,000 years. So, especially, I bet you if they're in a cold place, they might lay there for 1,000 years. The oldest known seed to sprout came from an extinct date palm tree. After it was unearthed from a long ago king's mountaintop palace in Israel, a scientist planted it, and 4 weeks later, it sprouted. So there it is, thousands of years old, and when it found the right conditions, it still sprouted. A seed is thirsty and hungry. Once a seed has shed its coat, it drinks in the rain, the dew, and yesterday's icicles. It feasts on minerals in the soil. Part of the seed, the root, feels the tug of gravity and digs down deep. Another part of the seed, the shoot, is sensitive to light, so it reaches for the sky. Oh, sorry, for the sun. A seed is clever. Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Inside plant leaves are cells containing chemicals that absorb sunlight. Light gives them the energy they need to turn water and carbon dioxide as gas in the air into food. So it's really quite a magical thing. But they can use the sunlight to make food for themselves. It knows to seek the sunlight, to push itself up through the soil, but it must wait a while before that happens. A seed is sleepy. These are sunflower seeds. But only until it has found a place in the sun and it has had its breakfast and a drink of water. Then a seed is suspense. Awake. So these are the sunflower plants. Now, do you remember how I told you there was a surprise on the back cover? So, I want you to remember all these different seeds that were on the front inside cover. And now, check out what's on the back inside cover. So one of the cool things about this book is that you can match up the seeds to what plants they become. So remember how we saw dandelion seeds on the inside cover? There's the dandelion plant. What are some other ones that we saw? I was trying to find the hamburger bean, but I don't see it. Here's the corn plant. They have some very funny names like monkey ladder pod, slash pine, sea coconut, monkey's comb, devil's claw, swamp palm. Some very cool plants. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's kind of a fun book because it's an informational text, but it's written in sort of a fun way.